Okay. Yeah, okay, Mark, I remember my workaround now. So let's get BlackBird open here. And let's clear all of this out. All right. So let's create, I'll just create a market entry. And then let's create a profit target. Yeah, we'll just focus on the profit target. So I'll leave the stop loss out. All right, so if you want to re-enter, this is the workaround I'm talking about. So again, this is a workaround. So workarounds always are problematic, right? There's always going to be some kind of inherent issue when doing workarounds. And I'll explain as I'm going along here. So let's see, we'll do another market entry. And what I'm going to do is, so we want order B to only get executed after the profit target is hit, right? So what we need to do is delay order B, delay it so that order B is waiting for the profit target to get hit. So we're going to use the place after and use the order status changed, and we're going to select the profit target. All right, so what we're doing is we're monitoring when profit target for A is filled, right? And so when A gets filled, that meets this trigger condition, right? So when this trigger condition triggers, then order B will get executed, right? And so let's just, we'll just add another profit target here, and I'll just push that out a little bit further there. And so if you wanted to scale in a third time, right, well, you're going to have to make another order set. So I'd have to do this. So you can see that basically there is a limit here. There's just a natural limit to continuously jumping back into the market every time your profit target gets hit, right? So if I wanted to do this a third time, the place after, let's see, we want to now monitor the profit target for B, right? So for order C, right, it's going to wait for the profit target of B to be filled here, and then we'll place that. So there's one limitation, right, is that you can only, set up a certain number of these, right? You can't set it up indefinitely, although in theory, you can add as many order sets as you want. There is no limit on the number of order sets, right? But obviously, you're probably just going to stop at some point. So with creating, all these order sets to do this. But, right, so that's one, minor limitation there. The major limitation is that, when are you going to instruct BlackBird to, let's see here, what would be, something that would be more practical is, instead of using a market, what if I used a limit order, right? And so, if I'm placing a limit order, well below the market, the closing price, actually, let's do this. Let's do there, the low. So if I'm placing a limit, or if I'm taking the low price and placing a limit order, what if the market never fills my entry order? Do you want that entry order hanging out there all day waiting to get filled? No, of course not, right? You're going to use, your own personal discretion, and at some point you're going to give up on the trade. But BlackBird can't read your mind, so you have to tell BlackBird, when to cancel this entry order, basically when to give up. So you do need to figure out some kind of mechanism, some conditions, and tell BlackBird, okay, based on these conditions, cancel all of these scale-in trades, right? So whether it's, number of bars, or maybe price moves, so far, in some direction or something like that. But you do need to figure out some. So whenever you use the place after, you should always be using the cancel after, right? You should never have a place after naked without a cancel after. So so that this is probably the bigger issue with this workaround, is trying to figure out when should you instruct BlackBird on basically canceling these scale-in orders here. Right? So same thing with B. Right? If B was not a market order, if it was a limit order, then you need to basically figure out some way to kind of cancel this here, right? So actually, okay, so here, so probably one practical way to do this is let's create a stop loss here. So let's just create a 15 tick stop loss. All right. So I'm gonna remake these here. Okay. All right. So the place after, right? Again, I just recreating it. The place after is monitoring the profit target. So if that gets filled, and then the cancel after, I can take the cancel after, and if I switch to the advanced tab, let's see, let's delete the delay, and what I want is order status changed, and I can monitor the stop loss for A. All right. I can monitor the stop loss for A. So if the stop loss gets hit, right, then obviously you want to cancel order B, right? You don't want order B just being left in a pending state, right? Because that's the important thing, is that when you use the place after, well, that order set is left in a pending state because BlackBird is waiting for this place after condition to occur. And if it never occurs, well, BlackBird's just going to patiently keep waiting. Because remember, it's software, right? So software is just going to keep waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting forever. So that's why there's a cancel after, is you got to tell, right, the software, okay, stop waiting at this point and just cancel things, right? Just cancel your waiting command. So so if the stop loss gets hit, right, it seems to make sense that that we want to cancel order B here. And so if you want to scale in a second time here, then we'll copy B, and then for the entry order here, right, the place after, well, we're going to wait for the profit target, right, profit target of B to get filled. But then the cancel after, well, for C, if the stop loss for A gets canceled, right, well, then C should get canceled. But also, if the stop loss for B gets filled, I'm sorry, not canceled, but if the stop loss for A gets filled, or the stop loss for B, if that gets filled, right, well, then you probably want to cancel C, right? So what we'll do here is the cancel after, right, we're already monitoring the stop loss for A here. So what we're going to do is add another order status changed. So we now have 2 order status changes, and on the second one, we're going to monitor the stop loss for B. There we go. So we're monitoring the stop loss for A and also monitoring the stop loss for B, right? So C has 2 stop losses it needs to monitor. And if we make order D, well, D will now have 3 stop losses that it needs to monitor to cancel, right? So that progression is just going to keep getting added onto and onto and onto. Yeah, so let's see. And one other thing we need to take a look at is the mode, right? So the mode is defaults to all simultaneously. So obviously you're not going to get both stop losses hit simultaneously. So we need to change the mode to any, right? So if any of these stop losses get filled, right, then that's what we're looking for. If any of the stop losses get filled, then that is our trigger condition to cancel order C. All right, so let's take this for a little spin here. And let's see, let's go long, and we'll move the market up here. There. All right, we'll just move the market up and just watch this play out, see how it works out. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to shoot, I should have opened up. There we go. The order monitor panel here, right? So, yeah, our profit target got hit, but we can still see that C is in a pending state. All right. So that again, you know, it's this pending state that creates the problem with this workaround. Is obviously you don't want to leave some kind of order, you know, some kind of entry order in a pending state indefinitely. And let's see, this one was canceled. What happened here? What happened? Let's see, profit target was hit for B and it canceled. Oh, right. Yeah, I was wondering about that. So, yeah. So there we go. So this points out another problem here with workarounds in general, and in particular this particular workaround. Right, we can see that C was canceled. Yeah. So when the profit target for B was filled, the entry order for C was canceled. And let's see, let's take a look. First, I want to make sure I didn't make a mistake here. Let's see here. Yeah, there's no mistakes. So, yeah, the problem is that the last order set that's like trying to monitor a profit target. The problem is that when the profit target for B, when it's filled, the position is technically flat. The position is technically flat for just a moment, and yeah, and that actually cancels order C here. Was that? Yeah, Jeremy and I had a discussion, gosh, probably about a month ago, on some future enhancements to BlackBird. And yeah, basically kind of took us into this problem of BlackBird, being flat for a moment, and it caused some problems with the other order sets. Yeah, and I think that that technical state of being flat is what caused order C to get canceled. So for this, so if you want a second, scaling in, then we're going to have to add a third one that's just in there as a dummy, right? So D is probably D is going to end up getting canceled, but D basically leaves BlackBird in a pending state so that order C can get filled, without getting canceled. So we just need to make some quick adjustments here. All right, so the place after for D is going to look at the profit target for C, and then the cancel after. Well, we need to add another order status changed, add a third one, and so this third one will look at the stop loss for C. There, the stop loss for C. All right, so again, the first order status changed is looking, right, it's monitoring the stop loss for A to see if that gets filled. Our second order status changed is looking at the stop loss for B to see if that gets filled. And then our third order status changed is looking at the stop loss for C, right? So D needs to monitor the stop losses of all the previous three order sets for the cancel after. All right. Okay, so with that, let's see. Let's go short this time, and we'll just move the market down. There. All right. Yeah, so let me just kind of point out again here that, right, with the order monitor panel here, we can see that order B is in a pending state, right? It's pending because it's waiting for the profit target of A to get filled. And then order B gets submitted. And right, and the same thing with C and D. They're all in pending states, right? There we go. So the profit target for A was filled. B gets submitted, right? B is filled. The profit target is working. Stop loss is accepted, right? And C and D are still in pending states, waiting for the profit target B to get filled. So we'll just let this play out again here. All right, B is about to get filled. There we go. So B was filled, so C was executed. So there's our profit target for C. And D is probably going to end up getting canceled here. Yeah, because once the profit target is filled, it puts BlackBird into a flat state for a split second. And there we go. All right, so D got canceled. So for this workaround to function for now, so in the future, we're actually going to make some changes to BlackBird's order management state engine to accommodate for something like this. But for now, we need this extra dummy order set in here. One extra dummy order set here that's never going to get executed. It's just going to get canceled there. So. All right. So there was Mark's question about re-entering kind of automatically after a profit target gets hit, right? So that's the workaround. And again, the cancel after is basically kind of the issue with the workaround. So, right? So we do have a, so we can see here that we do have I would say probably a very good solution, a common solution, as long as you're using stop losses. So let's see. Mark is asking, wouldn't the cancellation come in at the change of trend? Sure. Yeah. So if you could define, you could use Bloodhound to define when a trend change occurs, and then you could use Bloodhound signals as well to cancel everything. Yeah. So you can hook in a Bloodhound signal here. And so this Bloodhound signal wouldn't be a trade signal. It would be a trend change signal, or basically it would be a condition. So you could have Bloodhound, look for a trend change condition and generate a signal that says, hey, this condition has occurred. And so then you could use the Bloodhound signal to cancel pending orders as well. Yep. So you could go into all of these entry orders, and in the cancel after, you could also add a Bloodhound signal to this, and then you would just have to create your own your own signals that identify when a trend change has occurred. Yep. And just use the signals to cancel the order as well. Yeah. So here, I'm going to go back to this one. So here we go, Bloodhound. Yeah. So if you wanted to use a Bloodhound signal to cancel a pending order, right, you would just simply load the Bloodhound template, and then identify is Bloodhound giving you a signal in the direction of the trend change? So in other words, if you're in a long trade, is the change of trend signal coming from Bloodhound, is it a long or is it a short? Right? So when BlackBird's in a long trade, is Bloodhound going to give you a short signal, identifying that the trend has changed, or is it giving you a long signal, right? So you just need to, select, what is the signal direction? Is it the same as the trade, right? So is Bloodhound giving you a signal in the same direction as the trade that BlackBird has open, or is Bloodhound giving you a signal in the opposite direction, right? So opposite direction would be, for example, if BlackBird's in a long trade, then if Bloodhound's giving you a short signal telling you that the trend has changed, right? Well, a short signal would be opposite of a long trade. Right? So, yeah, so there you go. So that would be possible there, Mark. All right, and it also looks like Mark had to take off. Okay, no problem. All right, so I think that does it for Mark's question there.